Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat, and welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all today. Good to be back with good internet. Good to see you, Bray Herd. Good to see you, Bad Roxy. So being in the size of a building that I'm in, our internet is not a standard router. Like it's in industrial level, business level, because it's serving seven floors. I don't even know where I'd go to turn it on and off again, to be honest, and it's not my job to. In fact, I stay woefully ignorant of how the internet actually works around here, so that I'm never called when it goes down. But anyway, it's good to be back with y'all today. We're going to be continuing in with more Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. Maybe we can find out what the fate of Atlantis was. Spoiler alert, it's that it never existed. Oh! Y'all got that free real estate. Pete Tony coming in with a rate of 17 viewers. Welcome, Raiders. Am I winning, Father? Always. Good to see you, Beer Fox. We're actually just going to go ahead and dive into the game. Hi, I heard I could come here for free real estate. I've got free real estate in heaven. Good to see you, Pete Tony. Thank you for the raid. I doubt I have to do that for everyone in chat, but, you know, that'd be good too. Oh, there's the raid message. Wow. I have been pawned. So yeah, last time we found ourselves in Monte Carlo.
The door is closed.
I seriously have to press open door?
Any luck, Indiana?
Hey, Nanakit.
Where's Trottier?
If Pete Tony was playing a Korean MMO published by Amazon, then it would be especially appropriate because it would be Raiders of the Lost Ark. Bad Roxy has redeemed a father joke. You know, it's been so hot here, and I was out in the park for a walk, and just basically every dog was just running for the shade everywhere. And I guess they just didn't want to be a hot dog. Anyway, what's up, our friend? I'm tired of looking for Trottier. I have no idea where he is.
No idea where he is.
Well then, get
I'm
back
glad
out there.
Get Punt likes it. Can I take the bedspread?
There must be a sheet under here.
I'm gonna whip the bed.
I don't think that'll work.
Well, I took the bed sheet. I don't know how that worked.
It's a fuse box. It's the main power switch for the room.
Let's use it. Well, that accomplished nothing.
I don't think that'll work.
Okay, so that's the hotel. So does the taxi take us to the casino?
I'm not leaving without Sophia.
No, that takes us to the next area.
Excuse me.
Just straight up, just ask everyone. Are you Mr. Trottier?
Can you tell me where to find Monsieur Trottier?
Sorry, no. Look for a man in a brown suit.
Okay, well. Man in a brown suit.
Excuse me.
Don't run away.
Can you tell me where to find Monsieur Trottier? Possibly. Who wants to know?
I'm Dr. Indiana Jones at Barnet College.
I'm Dr. Indiana Jones of Barnet College. Jones. I believe I've heard of you. Yes, of course, the famous archaeologist.
Yes. Who doesn't have a brown suit? Gale, I don't have a brown suit. Brown and black don't really work well together. That's me.
And I am Trottier. Amateur scholar, part-time poet, professional dreamer. The tarot revealed to me a 3 of cups, which drove me outside for some air. And here
Well, that was easy.
What good fortune.
But isn't black just really dark brown? No. I'm just gonna say no. I hear you deal
I've
in
heard you
Atlantean
deal in
artifacts.
Atlantean artifacts. Aha, my reputation precedes me. I fear my wife will kill me.
Bedrock's
unless
he's
I
out and
forget
Gale is
my
also not
crazy
having
dreams. To persuade me to
a
ignore her
brown
wishes,
suit.
answer me this. When were the many freaks of nature created?
I missed all that conversation. Oh well.
In the last days of Atlantis. No, you're just guessing. Bonsoir, monsieur.
Okay, so he's giving us some sort of clue or puzzle
find
that we
our
have
man,
to talk
Indy?
to him and be like, this is the answer,
Where's
so we don't have
Trottier?
it. Well, neither of these is true, but
This isn't working. Let's move on.
Okay. We could talk to a collector in Algiers who might know something. Omar Al-Jabbar. Get a
to
cab and I'll join you.
Algiers. The same way that blue is orange, but
I'd better put
differently
the sheet
sure.
back.
What? Why are you putting the sheet back? It could come in handy. I know how these puzzle games work.
Wait for me!
Long, dusty path back to the airport. No, thank you. Let's talk to the beggar.
Hello there.
Ah, a prosperous American.
No. I'm a professor. I don't have money.
Do you know where to find Omar Al-Jabbar?
Omar is one of my best customers. His shop is on the other side of the marketplace.
Sorry
Okay.
to bother you.
No bother, Effendi. Now, let me get back to work, please.
It's very convenient that everyone in Algiers is speaking English. Hey, Sarah.
I don't want to disturb them. They look kind of busy.
Let's talk to the knife
Excuse
thrower.
me.
This can't end poorly.
Yes? Nice knives.
Yes, they were a gift from my father, the greatest knife thrower in North Africa. I'm trying to follow his example. But alas, no one will volunteer to be my assistant since the accident.
The accident? English is the only language in the world. It's just like USD is the only currency. Okay. Wait, why didn't it just let me volunteer? Let's
Do you
see.
know where to find Omar Al-Jabbar?
He has a shop nearby.
call it Canadian
behind the
USD.
marketplace.
Sorry to bother you.
No bother. I just wish a volunteer would step forward to assist me.
All types of English with an accent, no other language. Yeah, it's just a really thick accent. People just need to try harder. Hey, this is probably Omar Jabal or...
Excuse me.
What can I do for you? Effendi.
Are you Mr. Omar Al-Jabbar?
I am but a humble shopkeeper. My name is unimportant.
That sounds like a yes.
Do you ever deal in antiquities from Atlantis?
Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Many a fool dreams of the lost kingdom. How may I know your intentions are serious?
Got a PhD. I'm not sure. I know what you mean. I don't think I've got anything that would convince you. PhD
I've
seems
got a
pretty good.
PhD. Will that do?
You have quite a sense of humor, I see.
Let's give him the national
Excuse me.
archaeology
I
with our
think
picture
this
in it.
may interest you.
Sorry. Not interested in your kind offer, I'm afraid.
Maybe.
Why do I keep looking at her?
Oh, right. I have the lost dialogue of Plato.
Excuse me. I think this may interest you.
I was like, it's probably a journal
No,
or
thank
something.
you. I'm not interested in books.
Sir, do you know what this book is?
Big pots.
It's a load of crockery.
It says drink Eliot's rosewater in Arabic.
How do I drink in Arabic?
Little pots. Pots.
Okay. How about I just start whipping
I
the
don't think
urns?
that'll work.
Well, you never know if you don't try.
Funny. Looks like that ghost we saw in your study.
That ghost was Nurab Sal.
Oh, I can just take the mask. Oh, okay, cool. Just
I don't need them. They're just pots. I don't need them. They're just big pots.
can I give the mask to?
Excuse me again.
Yes?
How much for the mask?
You can take the worthless thing. It's scaring away my best customers.
Then why are you hanging it up? This seems like a simple solution. How do I drink water in Arabic? Little pots. Well, fair enough. Strange thing I learned this game. Like, yeah, the scum was the engine.
Excuse me.
Yes?
Scum is the underlying tech for Humongous Entertainment Games. I believe LucasArts owns Humongous. So it actually makes sense that it's the same thing. And it makes sense because it runs in the Scum VM now.
What looks good today?
Today we have a special squab on a stick, only 20 dinars.
That's not USD.
Do you accept U.S. currency?
Hey, Britt.
Sorry, no.
What?
A squab would sure hit the spot.
20 dinars, Effendi.
Maybe we can make a deal.
What kind of deal?
I'll give you this
I'll give
mask.
you the scary mask for a squab.
No thanks, it would scare away my best customers.
I was founded by LucasArts designers. I knew there was a connection.
Hold the squab. I'll be back later.
Certainly, Effendi.
I wonder if we can earn $20. Or dinar.
Excuse me.
Yes?
I'd make a wonderful assistant.
It's refreshing to see such spirit. But my assistant must be a woman. Show business.
Oh.
you know.
That's sexist.
Excuse me.
Sophia?
What?
I think you should volunteer to help the knife thrower.
No, you don't, Jones.
I think it's great. I'm doing well,
Please,
Britt.
it's perfectly safe.
Having a good day.
Right. Perfectly safe.
Take a good look at his dexterity.
Well, okay.
Yeah, he's been juggling knives for, ever.
I better not get too close.
Hey, Mel. Good to see ya.
Excuse me.
Yes?
We made it. We did, in fact, make. What?
Sorry to bother you.
No bother.
I thought I got.
Listen.
What?
Come on, assist the guy, will you?
Nope, nope, nope.
Apparently, this game was an Easter egg in the Indiana Jones Wii game. What, like the whole thing? Like the whole game is in there?
Think about the effect on international relations.
That's
I'm
impressive.
thinking about the effect on my health.
Oh,
The man's desperate. He needs your help.
Is this your idea of a friendly nudge?
Rotata. Well, today is the feast of St. James the Greater, which is kind of an awkward title because greater and lesser is really like talking about age or height. So I feel sorry for James Lesser, but James the Greater is known as Santiago in Spain, and that he is the one buried at the end of the Camino de Santiago, the Walk of St. James. Pious legend is that he died he had preached in the Iberian Peninsula, went back to Jerusalem for the council, was killed there. He's actually the first of the apostles to die outside of Judas. And then his disciples took him all the way back to Spain and buried him there. But there is the Church of St. James there. It's apparently beautiful. I'd love to go sometime. And I think all the apostles in their own way are obviously examples of like how to follow Christ, but also as the building blocks that we give thanks for the foundation of the church around the Mediterranean basin and the world beyond. And I like that James and John in today's gospel are kind of like, hey, what can we get a better position? And their mom, it wasn't them, it was their mom who's like, hey, Jesus, appoint them special. Which in the Greek Orthodox tradition makes a lot of sense, actually, because that's Salome, who is Jesus' half-sister from the first marriage of Joseph. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, the Sons of Thunder, may their voices continue to roar out.
Do it and I'll let you wear my hat.
I'll let you wear my fist if you keep this up.
Good answer. Do you
You
have any dinars?
dinars?
No.
We won't get anywhere until you volunteer.
Stop trying to push me into this.
Pretty please?
What's with you anyway?
You gotta see this genius in action.
Really?
Oh no.
I don't know. Those knives look dangerous.
Hello there.
Back again, eh?
What are you doing here on the streets?
I'm a beggar, Effendi. It is my job to be here. Today, I'm offering a discount. Give me food and I'll give you a free gift.
Aha, aha, aha. We know why we need the squab now. Hello, Meep. Meep volunteers. Meep volunteers for the knife throwing. There's not a thought in between those pretty little eyes.
You ever hear of Atlantis, old man?
Atlantis. Atlantis.
Meep in the markets.
No.
Sorry to bother you.
If the mother
No
of the
bother,
apostles who
Bendy.
Jesus lived is
Now,
the daughter
let me
of
get
Saint
back to
Joseph the
work,
betrothed, dies, that means that being the apostle who Jesus loved is literally nepotism. I mean, I don't think it's nepotism. I think it's because he has two nephews. He has two nephews, and only one of them is the most beloved, and that's if we think John is the beloved.
We'd better not go out there. We'll just get lost. Excuse me.
You bring food?
Here.
No thanks. I can't very well eat that.
Fair enough. I don't think we can really call John a nepo baby, is all I'm gonna say. Okay, so I can't go beyond that.
Excuse me.
No, I...
Yes?
Are you absolutely sure I can't help you?
Not a chance, Effendi.
was actually hoping to talk to your audience. I thought...
They're a happy bunch.
To be loved by Jesus is to be loved by God. And we're all loved, so it's a given? Yeah.
Sophia,
What?
what do we do now?
We
Help
need
me,
an
Magic Pin
Atlantean
System.
stone disc to show Omar. Maybe we should talk to Trottier again.
Ah, Algeria. Never mind.
Okay, well, I
Okay.
guess we're going back to Algeria. Maybe we'll give this mask to Trottier in exchange for, in exchange for the stone disc. Seems like a fair trade, I guess.
You find Trottier and I'll do the rest.
That or I'm probably gonna put the mask on in the room when it's dark. Trottier!
Over here, Monsieur Trottier. Back again, Dr. Jones. What now? Madame Sophia's in town and wants to meet you.
Really? The great psychic? Oh, no wonder I felt restless tonight. Still, one must be cautious. I fear my wife will kill me unless I forget my crazy dreams. To persuade me to ignore her wishes, answer me this. What was Plato's great error?
Yeah, mask and sheet scare someone in the dark, for sure. His error was of distance, I believe, that we established last time, because he's like, oh, it's only 30 miles out, and it says like 300?
An error of distance.
Oh, no, you're just guessing.
Bonsoir, monsieur.
No! Get back here,
Just a
Trottier.
moment, monsieur.
Back again, Dr. Jones. What now?
Madame Sophia's in town and wants to meet you.
Really? The great psychic? Oh, no wonder I felt restless tonight. Still, one must be cautious. I
You
fear
love
my
psychic?
wife will kill me unless I forget my crazy dreams. To persuade
He has
me to
this
ignore her
wild
wishes,
French accent.
answer me this. When were the many freaks of nature created?
Okay, many freaks of nature were created. When darkness concealed the tall horns?
When darkness concealed the tall horns.
Oh, no, you're just
No, I'm
guessing.
not just guessing.
Bonsoir, monsieur.
Okay. I know there was something in that.
Over here, Monsieur Trottier.
You just seem to be walking
Back
aimlessly
again,
around
Dr.
town.
Jones. What now? I've heard you deal in Atlantean artifacts. Aha, my reputation precedes me. I fear my wife will kill me unless I forget my crazy dreams. To persuade me to ignore her wishes, answer me this. When were the many freaks of nature created?
Okay, we're running out of answers on this one because we've already answered when darkness concealed the horns and last days of Atlantis. So it's either celestial spheres or the great city. Gonna go with celestial
The
spheres.
spheres were well aligned. Yes, excellent. Obviously, you know Plato's lost dialogue well. How can I help you?
Porkadoo. Multiplication of the loaves and fishes. The 5,000 only included men, boys over 13 per Jewish tradition. Do you know why they'd still leave out the women and children in that account? Wouldn't it seem more grand of an action? That's a great question, Britt, and not one I necessarily know an answer to because that's really trying to get inside the mind of the gospel writers. I mean, Mark has the feeding in there, what, 2-3 times? Like, there are multiple feedings in Mark. And I don't know if really a bigger number is more impressive or that, like, culturally you're just supposed to extrapolate, like, oh, if there's this many, then it's this many physical people. I honestly don't know. Anyway.
Follow me and Madame Sophia will read your fortune. Oh, this is a big step. I'm not sure. Come on, take a chance. She's right here in the hotel. Well, I do need a new spirit guide in my life. So, I'll do it. Please, lead the way.
Okay.
Have a seat, Monsieur Trottier.
I think I see what I'm supposed to be doing here. While they're having a conversation, I'm supposed to play the
Is he
ghost.
here?
Keep him busy. I'm going to try something.
All
Oh,
right then. Give
Indy,
me
that's
minute
always
while
a good
I set him
idea.
up.
I mean, I'm not John. I'm not any of the gospel writers.
Monsieur Cartier, I'm so pleased to meet such an expert antiquarian at long last.
Madame flatters me. It is I who am pleased to meet you.
Now then, I need a token of power to set the mood.
Well, I have this stone key. I truly believe it is from the lost city.
Great.
Very good. Very good indeed.
We found our MacGuffin.
Now we can begin. Look into my eyes.
Okay, I can't interact with the candles, so that's...
Blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Look into my eyes.
Now is not the time.
Blah, blah, blah.
I better wait until it's dark.
A stitch in time.
The lights. What happened to the lights?
I think Narab Sal is trying to signal us.
Quick, vamp.
I think I should try something else first. Is he trying to scare me by wearing that sheet on his head?
Dr. Jones, if you please.
What?
I'd better take off. Oh, the lights are on again.
Narab Sal
Excuse
works
me,
with ways
what?
in shrouded mystery. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Leave no stone unturned.
You're supposed to be a rube.
I think I'm getting something. A stitch in time.
The lights. What happened to the lights?
I think Narab Sal is trying to signal us.
Well, madame, I've seen enough. It was entertaining,
No!
despite the interruptions. Au revoir.
Turn the lights on, will you please?
That is not my fault.
Great move, Jones.
Seemed like
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Stop acting acting like it's Halloween. On second thought, maybe you should find a way to spruce up that costume.
That was a
Goes
terrible
back
idea.
almost
Wait,
perfect.
make it better. What? This game will drive me to drink. Oh, now I have a flashlight. That was the missing element.
I don't need it now.
Well, fortunately, we can just wait for him to spawn again, and there he is.
Just a moment, monsieur. Well, hello again, Dr. Jones. How can I help you?
Am I supposed to do the creepy counselor thing with a flashlight? I think so, Mel. I think that was the missing portion.
Madame Sophia wants another seance. Well, she is a charming woman. So, I'll do it. Please, lead the way.
Well, at least he's a forgiving kind to be like, yeah, all right.
Have a seat, Monsieur Trontier.
Is he here?
Okay, Trontier's all yours.
Burp.
Let's begin again, shall we? With a token of power for Nurab Sal.
Here's the stone key.
Very well, let's begin.
One moment, madame. We've never met before. You could be an imposter. If you really have psychic powers, tell me. Why was I taking a stroll when I first met Dr. Jones?
How should I know?
Read my mind, or
You're a
read
psychic.
Dr. Jones' mind if you prefer. I told him everything.
Let me think.
Is the tarot cards.
The tarot cards told you to.
Well, well, well. Fascinating. What is my greatest fear?
Your wife?
You fear your wife.
You don't say. What is my greatest need?
You need a new spiritual advisor.
Well, well, well. Fascinating. Now then, how many fingers am I holding up behind my back?
What kind of stupid question is that? The answer depends on pure chance.
Not if you're truly psychic. Don't worry, I won't cheat. How many fingers?
Well, all I can do is try a wild guess.
What? How are you? I'm sorry.
3.
I'm very disappointed, madame. You have failed my little test.
Please excuse me for just a moment.
Of course, madame.
Can I talk to you, Dr. Jones?
I failed his lethal test.
I don't know what to do, Indy. You take over.
If you insist. Go on back to the seance and I'll think of something.
It better be good.
What if we just punch his lights out?
I'm sorry. Now, where were we? I think I'm getting something.
The lights.
He has the perfect French accent.
I think Nurab Sal is trying to signal us.
Does he have to wave that flashlight around? Oh, it's very unnerving.
Do you mind, Dr. Jones?
Sorry.
I've heard this too much IRL, and it's beautiful. Punching it is the Indiana Jones way. Exactly. Okay, so what if we bedsheet? I like that I can put the bedsheet and the mask on right here.
Oh, I feel the presence
That's
of
what was
Nurab
missing,
Sal
a
approaching
light.
us.
Ooh.
No!
Well done, Indy.
I was not prepared for Indiana Jones to go, ooh.
Looks like we have one of the 3 stones. Let's hope we can find a way to use it.
I'll bet Cloutier got it from Al-Jabbar. Those two do a lot of business together.
Do
Let's
they?
head for North Africa and find out if
Do
our-
they? How would you know? How?
Fine, I'll hail a cab while you get changed. I better put the flashlight back. I'd better put the sheet back.
I better not steal from this hotel. They may never let me come back.
Wait for me!
Some classic adventure game logic here.
Excuse me. I think this may interest you.
Ah.
That's how you
It
make
is said
deals.
that 3 stone discs were needed to open the gates of Atlantis. This looks like one of them. A sunstone, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Jones.
How do you know who I am?
You introduced
Yeah,
yourself.
how?
My dear Miss Hapgood, when you're Omar Al-Jabbar, you know these things.
Then you are Al-Jabbar.
Yes, a lowly dealer in oddities and trinkets at your service.
Let's get down to business, shall we? What do you know about Atlantis?
Yes, tell us.
Well, somewhere deep in the Atlas Mountains, there's an archaeological dig site. I'm convinced it contains the remains of an Atlantean outpost.
Whose dig
Okay.
is it?
Europeans, Germans, I believe.
Nazis. You mean Nazis. Let's go punch some.
What makes you so sure it's Atlantean?
From time to time, scoundrels appear in my shop to trade pieces they stole there. The designs are unmistakable.
Where is it exactly?
I'm not exactly sure. I've learned enough to make a rough map, but it's very rough.
I'm not calling
The
you a
problem
Nazi,
is the
Sarah. I was
desert
just
is no place for
calling
a
the
civilized man like
German
myself.
armed forces that are doing this
We'll go.
We will?
this dig site in
I
the
admire
late
your courage, but
1930s
you'll
of
never
Indiana
survive
Jones.
the desert.
100%.
Give up while you still have your lives ahead of you.
We'll never give up.
Well then, let it be as God wills it. Come, I'll lend you my map. And a couple of sturdy camels.
Yeah, camels, let's go. A few minutes later. Why did you have to show us walking then? Why do you have to show any of this? I'm so confused. What just happened?
You've returned alive. Tell me, how was your trip?
Our camels.
Okay, except our camels died a mile out of town.
A terrible shame. Those were my last 2 camels. Perhaps I can make amends in some small way. Do you still have that mask I gave you?
Yeah, I've got it right here. Why do you ask?
I'd like to trade you for it.
What will
Will
you give me?
That depends. Do you have anything in mind?
Make an offer.
Well, how about This baseball, it's been autographed by your country's Lou Gehrig.
I've got an idea. And this game's pretty fail-safe, I say now. What if the shopkeeper will take that? Let's see what else he has.
That's not quite what I want. What else have you got?
How about this voodoo doll? It was carved from trees in the Black Forest.
That's not quite what I want. What else have you got?
How about this little red wagon? It once belonged to Rudyard Kipling.
That's an oddly
I
specific
don't think
joke.
that's it. What else can you show me?
How about this yellow yo-yo? It was hand-painted by an Arabian princess.
That's not quite what I want. What else have you got?
How about this beautiful white cane? It was once touched by Queen Victoria.
I think this man is selling me a lot of fish
I don't
oil.
think that's it. What else can you show me?
How about these charming shaded spectacles? With these, a man can stare straight at the sun.
No, he can't.
That's not quite what I want. What else have you got?
How about this handsome red fez? No gentleman should be seen without one.
I already have a hat.
That sounds pretty awful. Have you got anything else?
How about this antique brass spittoon? With it, a man may spit like a camel in the privacy of his own home.
You're implying I can't do that in the
I don't
privacy
think
of my
that's
own
it.
home
What else
already.
can you show me?
How about this lovely bar of soap? It's 99 and 94 100% pure.
Pure what?
That sounds pretty awful. Have you got anything else?
How about this decorative black veil? It goes with anything.
Are we just seeing how many responses he
That's
has?
not quite
Basically.
What I want. What else have you got?
How about this dark red lipstick? It's chic yet dignified.
Well, that doesn't appeal to me. What else have you got?
How about this yellow scarf? It's a bit dowdy but comfortable.
That's
You
not
have
quite
a
what I
very
want. What else
eclectic
have you got?
inventory.
How about these charming ivory earrings? They were carved from the tusks of a prehistoric mammoth.
I believe you.
I'll just keep what I've got.
As you wish, sir.
Because I think I need to go talk to the shopkeeper. Because I think if you take one of those things, you can trade it back to him, probably.
Excuse me.
Yes?
I'd like to make another squab offer.
I'm listening.
I'll give you this scary mask for a squab.
No thanks, it would scare away my best
I'm
customers.
back. Welcome back, Brett.
I've got another offer.
Make it.
I'm not giving the Atlantean Sunstone.
I'll give you my fine leather jacket for a squab.
In this heat, don't be absurd.
I already think you're a fool for wearing it.
Hold the squab. I'll be back later.
Okay.
Certainly.
Does someone want to look up what the answer is? Because I think I know what I'm supposed to do here, but I don't want to just go back and forth trading items after trading items.
Excuse me again.
Yes?
I'd like to trade my mask for something else.
Do you have anything in mind?
Make an offer.
Well, how about these charming ivory earrings? They were carved from the tusks of a prehistoric mammoth.
Well, that doesn't appeal to me. What else have you got?
How about this
Okay.
wondrous ebony comb? It was last owned by Mata Hari herself.
That sounds pretty awful. Have you got anything else?
How about This enchanting ruby ring, they say it has the power to cloud men's minds.
Then why don't you use it?
That's not quite what I want. What else have you got?
How about this priceless gold buckle? It was a gift to Queen Cleopatra.
That sounds pretty awful. Have you got anything else?
How about this baseball? It's been autographed by your country's Luke Gehrig.
Okay, so that's a full loop. I'm gonna stop there because Step Zero is looking up the answer. This is an interesting idea, but I feel like there's a major context clue I'm missing. Leave, come back, take whatever he offers first.
I'll just keep what I've got.
As you wish, sir.
Well, it's gonna be Luke Gehrig's baseball.
Excuse me again.
Yes?
I'd like to trade my mask for
So the
something
game
else.
really does have a fail-safe
You have
of,
anything
just
in
whatever you
mind?
take is gonna work.
Make an offer.
Well, how about this baseball?
You have to push
It's been
Sophia and take a
autographed
knife
by
from
your
her?
country's
Man,
Luke Gehrig.
get!
I'll take it.
You've made a good exchange, Effendi.
Well, oh dear. Well,
Excuse
I'm not
me.
there yet.
Yes?
That was the next puzzle.
I'd like to make another squab offer.
I'm listening.
I'll trade you this autographed baseball for a squab.
Sorry, Effendi, I never accept gifts for myself. And certainly not in this color.
What?
Hold the squab. I'll be back later.
Certainly, Effendi.
You didn't tell me it might not be the first item. So I was right. I was right that my instinct to say, "Oh, I have to trade something," and that's
Excuse me
actually how you
again.
start to get the clues because
Yes?
he'll say, "Oh, not white."
Can I trade my baseball for something
And
else?
not for him. So
Do you
presumably
have
it
anything in mind?
could have been for a
an
child,
offer.
but the baseball would
Well,
have.
how about this voodoo doll? It was
Hmm.
carved from trees in the Black Forest.
That's not quite what I want. What else? have
I'm
you
thinking
got?
the red lipstick.
How about this little red wagon? It once belonged to Rudyard Kipling.
Although the little red, I'm gonna take the little red wagon here,
I'll take it.
just because
You've
if it
made
is
a
the red
good
wagon, I don't have to
exchange,
go
Effendi.
back through.
Excuse me.
Yeah, no, I've
Yes?
got it figured out now, Step Zero. You can stop copy pasting the walkthrough.
I'd like to make another squab offer.
It was just that initial
I'm
step.
listening.
I'll give you this little red wagon for a squab.
I'm sorry, Effendi, but I cannot make that trade. Even though red is my favorite color.
Okay,
Hold the squab.
so I
I'll be
think it
back
is the
later.
lipstick.
Certainly, Effendi.
Lipstick.
Excuse me again.
Yeah, but I'd hate to have gotten to the lipstick, find out it's not that,
Can I trade my wagon for something else?
and then have to
Do
come
you
back.
have anything in mind?
I'd like it to be red if possible.
Anything else?
Make an offer.
Well, how about this handsome red vase? No gentleman should be seen without one.
But not for himself.
I don't think that's it. What else can you show me?
How about this dark red lipstick? It's chic yet dignified.
I'll take it.
You've made a good exchange, Effendi.
Apparently, if any means a man of high education or social standing. Oh, okay.
Excuse me.
Yes?
I'd like to make another squab offer.
I'm listening.
I'll give you my dark red lipstick for one of your squabs.
Schmort.
This is
SMRT.
perfect gift for my mother-in-law. And it's so color coordinated.
He have a squab.
I was
Thank
not
you.
expecting that to be for his mother-in-law, to be honest. I was expecting that to just be for his wife.
Excuse me.
You bring food?
I do, actually.
Thank you, Effendi. Here's your free gift.
A ticket to a balloon. Okay. It's not what I was expecting, but I have a map. Burkadoo 2, Electric Boogaloo. If an object becomes a third-class relic by touching a first, second, or third-class relic, why does everything not become a relic? Is it intentionally touching something? Yeah, there. I think that's the best way to talk about it, is that within faith, within the Catholic Church, we have the importance of intentionality in a lot of what we do. So things don't accidentally become relics. It's a relic is made by touching something to something else with a level of intention and purpose. So, dust falling onto a relic is not a relic itself, but if you were to cover a relic with a cloth in a style of a funerary pall and then use that and have the intention of it serving as a relic, then it becomes a relic.
Listen,
What?
we won't get anywhere until you volunteer.
Stop trying to push me into this.
Pretty please?
That's the clue.
What's
Push me
with
into
you
this.
anyway?
You gotta see this.
Every single
genius
person
in
is an
action.
icon of God.
Really?
That's true.
I don't know. Those knives look dangerous. Oof.
Look here, ladies and gentlemen. A volunteer.
There's an area to.
But
I tried going up the stairs to the right
Now,
earlier, and
my
it's
dear,
like, oh,
there's
we'll get
nothing to be
lost.
afraid of.
but
Just walk over to the board now. Ta-da! Thank you for your brave assistance, my dear. Allow me to express my gratitude by giving you this souvenir knife.
Indy, you are lucky
here,
she doesn't
take
just
this knife
stab you
before
with
I
this.
use it on you.
The knives disappeared halfway there. She was never in danger. He's a very good knife thrower. Heart of Mithril, welcome to the channel. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, earlier when I tried... Oh, there's a roof. Yeah, I looked for that earlier. That wasn't there. This game brings memory of absolute joy. Oh, I'm glad. This game is a lot of fun. Some of its puzzles are a little like... Huh? But... I should be concerned that this balloon is full of hydrogen. But I have a ticket.
I'd like a balloon ride. Here's my ticket.
A valuable all-day pass. Today the skies are yours, Effendi.
I see no way this could go wrong.
We're
Bye
free.
bye. Oh, do I should have looked at the map. Yeah, why was the knife bloodstained? Oh, there's Nomad Camp. Head that way. No, I'm at the mercy of the wind. I don't know if anyone's truly a good balloon pilot. Although I guess it's that, like, at every level there is a different... Yeah, when you go up or down... When you go up, it goes clockwise. When you go down, it goes counterclockwise. Don't worry about the bloodstains. I think I should worry about the bloodstains.
Aren't you coming?
I'll stay here and watch the balloon.
I think I'm too far out.
The only mark on this map is one big X.
Well, now the knife is just gone, so I can't even look at it. Moida has been committed. Okay, there we go. We landed.
Stay here and guard the balloon.
Look for a big X. Yes, that's... Well, there's the body of water, and there's some mountains and the X, so... But, you know, maybe some nomads who conveniently speak English.
Hello there.
Salam, Effendi.
What do you make of this map?
This X is considerably to the east.
Thanks for the information.
Okay, considerably to the east. Oh, I'm sorry that stress is really getting you down, but I'm glad that we can be here with you, Britt. Well, he gave us directions. I guess that's all we could have asked for. And he said considerably to the east. So I'm going to go a whole screen over. And another nomad camp. More directions. Hey, if a puzzle is worth doing once, why not do it again, right? Considerably to the west.
Guard the balloon.
Yeah.
Hello there.
Salam, Effendi.
What do you make of this map?
This X is a little to the south and to the east.
Okay,
Thanks for the
southeast.
information.
Not everyone has to be good at reading maps. Yeah, so long as there's just one guy in each village, we're set. So there's another nomad camp, but I'm going to go another screen east because he said a little bit. It was kind of in this bottom right corner. This made 10-year-old you really want to go to the Sahara. That is fair. Like, if it's just lazy balloon rides, yeah, sign me up.
Stay here and guard the balloon.
The guy who's bad at reading maps is called Sir.
Hello there.
Salam, Effendi.
What do you make of this map?
This X is to the north. And slightly to the east.
Okay, so we're still
Thanks
a
for the
little
information.
to the east and more north. Camel up Super Cup. Camel up Super Cup. Is the camel okay? The camel is just vibing. Oh, I guess I live here now. Ooh, an oasis. I wonder if that's where I'm supposed to go, because that was north and east. Oh dear, I'm sorry, Britt. I hope you find a way to
Stay here and guard the balloon.
better understand and do what needs to be done. Do the task and also learn, but also to continue to advocate for your own rights and needs in the midst of it. That balloons take you to Oz. Well, maybe the oasis is named Oz.
Stay here and guard the balloon. Hello there.
Salam, Effendi.
What do you make of this map?
You are very close to the site. This X is a little to the south. That's about it.
Okay.
Thanks for the information.
Let's see if he knows anything about digging.
Hello again.
Salam again.
Have you seen anyone digging around here?
Well, I have seen foreigners with trucks and equipment.
Were they Nazis, do you think?
They had pale faces like you, Effendi.
Nice
Okay.
talking to you.
Go with God, Effendi.
Yeah, it is fun to find nice little new nooks and crannies in games like this. And there are certainly plenty to do. Oh, look, it marked it for us. That's why I actually really like the YouTube work of One Short Eye. He does a lot more of like the Sierra-based games, but he goes into like the history of the speedrunning and the history and development of the games.
Ow! I've
Well,
seen better
that's one way to get
rabbits.
rid of the balloon.
Him too.
Vast yet uncrossable desert or dig site. I think I'll take the dig site, Alex. A murder. Well, it was self-defense. We used that balloon in self-defense. He shot first.
Look what we found, an abandoned dig site.
Indy, it wasn't abandoned. You just killed the only guy who
Wait,
was
where
there.
you going?
I sense the presence of Nurab Sal.
I should have guessed.
Indy!
Hold on, Sophia.
Indy!
Sophia! Uh-oh. I can't see in. There's a table blocking the way.
Why don't you pick up the table?
I don't think that'll work. I can't move it. I can't move it. It won't come out.
Oh, you're not trying hard enough, Indy.
engine won't start
Take
for
his
some reason.
shoes. Oh no. We're gonna have to do a mechanics puzzle, I think. Nope, it's too dark. Can't see a thing.
The tents are empty. The whole place looks abandoned.
Well, maybe there's something useful left in the tents.
I better not get too near that hole. I might fall in too. I can't pick that up.
Is there nothing in the truck?
What a hunk of junk.
Mel, you're good with cars, right? What do I do? I have one option. Do I whip it? I do feel like leaving an entire site abandoned like this damages the environment, but that's just me. I don't know if that was the highest concern of the Third Reich.
That doesn't seem to work. I don't think that'll work.
What's up with it? Is it not start? Yeah, it's not starting, and I can look at the engine, and I can look at the spark plug. Gap the spark plug?
There's a plug missing.
Oh. Well, that's why we need a spark plug.
The engine's missing a spark plug and a distributor cap.
Well, where am I going to find those at this time of day? The whole dang distributor cap is missing.
The tents are empty. The whole place looks abandoned. It doesn't seem to open.
It's a tent. What do you mean it doesn't open?
I can't pick that up.
Oh, hush, Shindy.
I don't think that'll work. It doesn't seem to open. I can't move it. I better not get too near that hole.
Did the body have a distributor cap on it?
I die within minutes in that hellish waste. Forget it.
I get what I'm supposed to do, but I don't understand where I'm supposed to get it.
It's a door.
Because I don't see anything else that's interactable. Like, there's all the tents, but I can just look at them. When in doubt, use whip on something. It never works anyway.
I don't think that'll work.
This is like the quarry when someone takes the rotor arm from inside the distributor cap, and I'm just sitting there like, what? Just take the whole dang thing. Well, they did. Can I use the lost dialogue of Plato? Will that work as a spark plug? I don't know cars very well. Just shove an ancient manuscript into an engine hole. I'm sure everything will be fine. I have a ship rib now. It might spark a conversation. Bluntwood thing. Clay thing. I don't think I'm going to pick up the wall. A hose.
It's too heavy to pick up.
That sounds like quitter talk.
I can't pick that up.
Yeah, siphon the gas. That's what I'm thinking. Ooh, metal cap. Where'd it go? Metal thing. Metal cap. Okay. Yeah, he put back the flashlight, like I said.
Now it's open. I don't think that'll work.
No, I think we just opened up a, I mean, there's the gas filler pipe.
I don't think that'll work.
Oh! Hush. You never know if you don't try. Yeah, but this is the 1930s. Plastic basically hasn't been invented yet.
I can't pick that up. It's too heavy to pick up.
So maybe the gas down here is empty. Baked light. Is that like a kind of ceramic?
That's enough. The jar is full.
Yeah, gas-filled jar. It's a gas-powered stick. Ah, plastic before plastic. One moment. Getting a phone call on, like, the actual landline phone. Yeah, an actual landline phone. Hello, caller, you're on the air. No, it was one of my brother priests talking about wanting to talk about a marriage case that came in. Had some clarifying questions. So, you're talking with Father Evan. What's your theological question? Okay, gas filler pipes, about there. Okay.
I've emptied a jar into the pipe. Now it's closed.
We did it! Magic school, but this phone, but only Catholic questions. Yeah, basically.
It's a painting of a chest or ark. I've seen that before.
Is that the Ark? I think that's the implication, which is weird because Indy has found the Ark. I don't know if this is supposed to happen before or after that movie.
It's a crumbling rock wall. There's a mural behind this crumbling
Leverage.
rock. It's a map of the island of Crete. with a hole
Hey,
in the middle.
Squirrelage! Thank you for the 10-month
Didn't I read
resub.
about that in the Lost
It's
Dialogue?
gonna be lurking today, that's all good. Hope you are doing well. What defines a Catholic question, though? Catholic asks it? No, I'm
It's
kidding.
a map
Probably
of
just...
the island of Crete with a hole in the middle. Didn't I read about that in the Lost Dialogue?
When did you read the last Lost Dialogue?
I already scraped off as much as I dare. I don't think that'll work.
Got a wooden peg. So all questions are Catholic. I don't know if it quite works that way. Catholic means universal.
That's as far as it goes.
Okay. Oh, when darkness covered the tall horns or something like that.
Sophia?
Have you ever wondered why there are so many kids' names in Magic School Bus?
I thought you were
No.
going to leave me in there.
Believe me,
No
I was tempted.
creepypasta, Dark.
Lucky you didn't. Here's
Alternatives
something we may
here.
need.
The distributor cap.
It fell
What's
on
my
head
favorite
when I
lemonade
sank into
flavor?
the hole.
Pink.
And that's not all. Look.
What is it?
It's an amber fish on a string.
I
didn't
love
see that.
amberfish on
What
a
does it
string.
do?
How should I know? I suppose you've come up with something more interesting.
Maybe. Look where the sunstone is centered on the mural. The island of Crete. I'll bet Crete is where we'll find the greater colony of Atlantis Plato mentioned.
That sounds possible. Let's go.
Well, first, we're gonna go through the secret door.
Sophia already found all there is to find.
You give me a secret door and you're just like, never mind. But pink is not a flavor. It is in lemonade.
Don't forget the sunstone, Indy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
No, because pink lemonade is a particular kind of lemonade that is made. Like, if you go to the store, you can see it on the shelf. And there's a particular flavor tied into that particular
I better not
flavor.
get too near that hole. I might fall in too.
Just to clarify, in the non-Indiana Jones reality we live in, which is sad, Atlantis is basically just a thought experiment extended metaphor Plato uses to discuss governance, right? Yep, and the soul, because Plato would never miss an opportunity to say something about governance and the soul at the same time. Pink lemonade was invented by a clown, all the more reason to like it. Honk, honk.
It fits. The engine won't start for some reason.
Well, you didn't get the spark plug. No, I'm not pushing Sophia. I'm trying to open the hood. Thank you.
That doesn't seem to work.
I know what pink, blue, and various other colors are supposed to taste like because of sugary beverages. Yeah. And candy. Blue raspberry.
I don't think that'll work.
Oh, you of little faith.
It's pointing at Sophia's necklace.
It must be detecting the orichalcum residue.
Magic fish! I was not prepared. Atlantis is in the Philippines. But in the Atlantic Ocean. I think this Age of Mythology remake has terrible geography.
I don't think that'll work. That doesn't seem to work. It won't come out.
That's because there's nothing there.
I can't pick that up.
Okay, so I guess I'm supposed to find the spark plug?
It's an orichalcum detector. It's
Put
pointing
the
at
car in your
Sophia's
pocket.
necklace.
I mean, certain adventure games would do that. Also good to see a flame. You ever figured out why one Cyclops in the game kept quoting a poem about the Battle of Lepanto? Hmm. Nope. Still there. Does the generator down here have a spark plug that I can steal? Because as we know, all spark plugs are interchangeable. I was joking.
I better turn the generator on first.
I was joking, but that worked. Use spark plug with spark plug. That makes sense.
What do you know? A perfect fit.
Yeah, that's concerning.
I don't think that'll work.
Yes, because
Let's
all
book
spark
passage
plugs are
to Crete,
universal.
Sophia.
Exactly. And Mel works on cars. Mel knows. Are the spark plugs Catholic? If they're universal, I suppose you could say that. I mean, Crete is pretty. I'd like to go to the island of Crete someday. That sounds like it'd be interesting. Don't tell Hal we're not just despawned when he's not streaming. Andy, you choose the most interesting path sometimes. Oh, hey, tall horns. That matters. Wait, does this mean that in Indiana Jones's universe, the Minoan civilization on Crete is Atlantis? Is that what this is implying?
There's a statue here. I can't pick that up.
Bull's tail statue. I think the Minoans are the Atlantean expats. Hmm. Well, that would explain the bull imagery, though. Dang, did the Minoans like them some bulls. Okay, this one only has one person.
It's a pile of rubble. I can't move it.
Not with that attitude.
I don't think that'll work. It doesn't seem to open. They're all empty.
Oh, well, okay. Atlantis fled to America, but their history's down on gold plates. No.
They're all empty.
Moses came down from the mountain. You have messed up, Aaron. It's funny on multiple levels. Kevin the Reader has redeemed a father joke. You'll love this one. It's perfect for you. What do you call a rock star with a sunburn? Pink Floyd. And Nana Kit has cheered with 300 bits. Thank you for the 300 bits, Nana Kit. Is this Do you want the candy thing? Is that it?
Nothing in there except dust.
Big Meep. Big Meep cheering me on, knowing the suffering
All
that I'm
holding
about to
now
incur.
is air.
Yes, please, as purgatory for the joke. Ouch! You're not wrong. Wheel of Pain, spin, spin, spin. I'm opening up the wrong things. No, what? We just got that the other day! Well, Barnett's Mega Sours it is. You know what, Nana Kid, I'll even let you pick a color. I got pink, I got yellow, I got blue, and I got orange. Oh, well, this one's different.
It's an ancient diagram of some kind. There's a bull's head, horns, and tail. The lines appear to converge on that circle. Could the circle
Said
be one of the
pink
stone
lemonade.
discs?
Barnett's Mega Sour. Mmm.
I don't think that'll work.
It's not so bad. Mmm. Woo!
I don't think that'll work.
Not with that attitude, Indy.
I don't think that'll work.
Father Evan is short-circuiting. Growing those. Well, yeah, I stretched out my spine in pain. I think I can almost taste this one. Because they are, in fact, fruit-flavored. Shout out to you, Ha, for introducing me to these nonsense things. I need to buy more. I'm actually running low in this bag. I have 6 left. Like halfway through the bag. No, it's like a strawberry flavor. I think. Hypnos is watching you play. Okay, hello, Hypnos. Oh, it's like Hypnos streaming my stream. Are we doing meta things now? What do you mean use surveyor's instrument with something? I want it.
I'm too far away.
Oh, you just want me to pick it up. So we have a tail statue over here. We have horns here.
I need to find a way down there.
One of those notes sounds like the beginning of my follower notification. So I keep hearing going, oh.
It's a pile of rubble.
If I can interact with it, it has purpose, Indy.
It's an orichalcum detector. It's pointing at Sophia's necklace.
I was hoping in this environment it might point at something else.
They look like the town's centerpiece. I don't think that'll work. I don't think that'll work.
Let's see if the fish does anything different here.
It's pointing at Sophia's necklace.
No, okay. One of these murals had 2 people on it. Can't help but feel like that matters.
It's pointing at Sophia's necklace. I don't think that'll work.
Did I miss something? At the shore area, I wonder? Whoop. Yeah, it's the indie theme.
It's a pile of rubble. I don't think that'll work. I don't think that'll work. There's a statue here.
The bull's head. We have the bull's tail.
They
But
won't
not
move.
too much of it so they don't get sued. What?
They won't move.
I'm confused. Oh, the theme song. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I mean, this game is licensed. Walkthrough ready when needed? Not needed yet.
They won't move.
We're still finding things.
I can't pick that up.
So we have a tail statue and a head statue. And a mural. Scary task is no longer yours. Hey! Glad to hear that, Britt.
I don't think that'll work.
Just
I
use
don't
it as
think
a
that'll
bludgeoning
work.
weapon, Nindy.
I don't think that'll work. It's an ancient diagram of some kind. There's a bull's head, horns, and tail. The lines appear to converge on that circle.
Oh. Okay, so we found the tail, we found the head, we know where these horns are. It is a map. It just took me a moment. So it's this stone, this pile of stone,
It's a pile of rubble.
I think is what I'm looking for, because that's... Okay, it's A, it's the only thing to interact with, but B...
I don't think that'll work.
So what am I...
I can't level it on these stones.
Well, that's a new line of dialogue.
I can't level it on these stones. I don't think that'll work. I need a spot to set the thing up.
Map hack? Nah. He's in, Redacted today. Hey, Step Zero. I got an elephant in your room. And I know what you're thinking. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. And all I'm gonna say is, don't mention it.
I don't think that'll work. It's pointing at Sophia's necklace.
I've hit the secondary core of citric acid.
I don't think that'll work.
Which I think is the most insidious thing about these sour candies, because most sour candies have citric acid on the outside and a little bit in the sugar, but it usually fades out. But this, it just has a concentrated package of it in the middle. So you're just going through, sucking on it. It's like, oh, it's all good, it's all good. And then you get to a point and it's like, haha, surprise, citric acid. Can I make a cricket emote? I mean, cricket's a fun game, but I don't know if it's that popular in the channel. If I keep rolling my eyes this hard, are they going to stick? Nah, they're probably going to fall out first. I'm gonna go back to where we all started here, because I feel like I missed something. Like a tool or something. Unless I'm just supposed to... I never tried pull on the rocks. I'm gonna do that real quickly before we leave this screen. I didn't what? I told you not to mention it.
They won't move. It doesn't seem to open.
Okay, so that won't work. I didn't miss anything on a previous screen. Okay, well that is helpful.
Excuse me.
What?
Here we are in the ruins of Knossos.
Hang on a minute.
Knossos.
Nurab Sal speaks! He tells me that in his travels he has walked this ground and bids us find the underworld passage to his ancestral home.
How do you do it? Radio? Signals from the fillings in your teeth?
Still the wise guy. You'll learn.
Oh, you got in touch with your coworker. It's supposed to be a bracelet, not a long necklace. That is a very big difference. That sounds like the seller just really packaged the wrong thing.
What do we do now?
I'm not sure. Let's figure out what the mural means.
Do you think the Nazis have been here?
I don't know, but we should be careful. Something tells me they're not far away.
Ah. Aha.
I see a door.
That's cute.
I see a wall.
I bet they want the necklace back, though. Yeah. It usually be like that. Wait, was this all just a... Like, is there a door I'm supposed to be walking in here that's, like, not visible? Is that it? There's nothing here. I have all the parts, but I like the answer. Not immediately. Sometimes I like stumbling about. Maybe I'll fail upward. Let him cook. Yeah. I am allowing for simmering. So right next to some stairs, I guess, is the clue.
I see a wall.
Like wall. Next to some stairs. Could be a social media advisor for sure. No, that's not where I wanted you, Indy.
I can't level it on these stones. They won't move. They won't move. It's pointing at Sophia's necklace.
Still pointing at Sophia's necklace.
I don't think that'll work.
Like, I feel like this is trying to tell me what that there's supposed to be an entrance here.
I can't move it.
Like, which door is correct, but partially because of the graphics, it's hard to tell. What the she has a name. Her name is Sophia.
I see a door. Excuse me.
Well,
What do we do now?
I'm not sure. Let's figure out what the mural means.
I did figure out what
Let's
the
look
mural
around.
means.
Okay.
Wrong door.
I don't think that'll work.
Like, oh, maybe I've been using it wrong. I've been going in between the horns. I need to go on the other side. I think that's been my mistake.
I see dirt. I see a door.
What's odd is trying to line it up on the outside, it won't converge because you're in fact looking at the same image on each side.
I see a wall. I see Sophia.
Was on the ground in front of the door? Like this door? The one that's in between the horns? That makes the most sense. It's some of the rubble.
I see a door.
Like, I think it's this pile of stones right here. But you can't interact with them.
I don't think that'll work.
So this could be the circle that the thing was referring to on the mural. Because 3 points, the horns in the middle. Because tail, head, circle, horns.
I don't think that'll work.
Well, maybe there was a hint in the dialogue. I don't know. Yeah, I'm missing something. Lay it on me, Step Zero. Once you have discovered the bull's head, place the surveyor instrument on it and use it. Align the transit with the left side of the horn.
I see the right horn.
Okay, that's dumb. Because the diagram was clearly showing just going beyond it.
I see the left horn. Hello, what's this?
Gee, you mean that thing I basically figured out without the magical lines?
This is where the survey lines triangulated. Hey, there's a stone disc down here. It's got a hole in the middle and little moons carved into the surface. It must be one of the moonstones Plato wrote about.
So we have a sunstone and a moonstone.
I don't think that'll work.
I apparently do need the magical lines to activate the spot that I can look at.
I don't think that'll work.
Okay, now I have a moonstone. So what?
I don't think that'll work.
I need 3 of these discs to get into Atlantis. If you can solve the game without solving the puzzles, what fun would that be? Well, yes, but there's also a sense of natural progression and, you know, at least having a sense of what's supposed to happen next. This game is not natural. Well, it is a 90s
I don't think
adventure
that'll
game.
work. I don't think that'll work. I see nothing.
Well, let's try.
I don't think that'll work.
So what will work, Indy? Thought one of these had two guys on the painting. Maybe this is all I needed, and now I go back to where it was. I love waiting for the pixels to walk across the screen. Well, that's good, because there's lots of it. Look at these pixels go. So pixel. This is the future of gaming right here. Oh, this is the peak. I'm going for a swim, Sophia. I did miss something, Step Zero. I missed a portion.
It doesn't seem to fit properly.
I missed a portion of the world. So when darkness covered that...
Well, that didn't do anything.
I don't remember anything about what the moon was supposed to be doing. I guess if it was darkness, it was probably a new moon. Nope.
That still didn't do anything. Maybe I need to align the stones with each other and the tall horns, satisfying all of...
I guess it was when the celestial bodies aligned?
Well, that didn't do anything.
Okay, I know they've given me a hint, but it is so obscure and thin. And it's also time to call it for a day. Wheels in the sky. Walkthrough is useless here, just says align the discs correctly. Wow! That is more obtuse than the game! See, I think I missed a piece of dialogue, but with what Trottier. So maybe the... Anyway, who knows? Good times. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. Thank you for all the likes, shares, subscribes, bits, checking out the YouTube, checking out the Discord. Hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Now draw the rest of the owl. Yeah, draw 2 circles, draw the rest of the owl. How hard is it? Anyway, I've decided I'm going to do a bonus stream tomorrow afternoon, since we didn't get to do Minecraft yesterday, so do a little Friday Minecraft at the usual time, so check out that tomorrow. No streams next week, as I will be away for my personal retreat for the year. So I'll be, away from the internet for the most part well, at least away from streaming. Otherwise, what was I gonna say? After we get back, be more Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. Continuing Thomas was alone, picking up where we left off after the internet glitched out. The hints changed from game to game. That's even less helpful. And then more Minecraft went for midweek Minecraft as always. And then we're gonna keep going on this. We're almost at the end, given that we're about to enter Atlantis, I think. And then after that, I have a fun thing lined up that I'm calling the Power Ranger Power Hour. Got a lot of classic SNES games of the Power Rangers that I love and would just love to play those for a bit. Yeah, Nana and Mel, you are sharing the one brain cell right now. I have an emote for that. But yeah, let's see who's live to raid. Not really a whole lot of folks live right now that I know, and I don't want to send you into a stream that I don't know. So I hope everyone has a great rest of their day, and if I don't see you tomorrow, I hope you have a great weekend. All right, take care. Think Father just insulted our brain cell? No, I just said you're sharing the one brain cell. There's a reason I made the emote. I share the one brain cell with lots of folk. Anyway, I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. If I don't see you tomorrow, I hope you have a great weekend. Take care. God bless.